Mama Jones has finally broken her silence, and the truth she's revealed is more shocking than anyone expected. She's not holding anything back, and what she has to say changes everything. Why did Jim's life fall apart so badly? Why did the people closest to him turn their backs? Who was really pulling the strings? For years, people have been guessing about what really happened to Jim Jones. The drama, the feuds, the losses. But now, Mama Jones is laying it all out. And it turns out this wasn't just a case of bad decisions or bad luck. This was a well-planned betrayal, a conspiracy, and two names keep coming up again and again, Chrissy and Cam'ron. Jim Jones isn't just a rapper, he's a legend in the hip-hop world. He helped shape a whole era of music. But behind the scenes, his life started to crumble. His career struggled. His relationships got messy. People blamed him for it all. But now, Mama Jones is telling us that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't the one to blame. She says Chrissy and Cam'ron, two people who were supposed to be close to Jim, were actually working behind his back. This wasn't about simple jealousy or a lover's argument. This was about power, about control, about destroying someone's life for personal gain. Mama Jones explains that she's been watching all this unfold for years. From the outside, people saw Jim struggling, making headlines, losing his way. But from her point of view, there was something deeper going on. She claims Chrissy and Cam'ron were deliberately turning people against Jim. They weren't just causing problems, they were setting him up to fail. Cam'ron was once seen as a brother to Jim. They built their empire together, stood side by side, and created a legacy. But Mama Jones says that Cam'ron began to change. He started moving differently, became distant, and behind closed doors, he started scheming. She believes that he was trying to replace Jim, not support him. And then there's Chrissy. She's always been a strong personality, outspoken, opinionated, unapologetic. But Mama Jones says that Chrissy used her relationship with Jim to gain control. She wanted Jim to be her version of a man, not who he truly was. And in trying to mold him, she broke him, little by little. Together, Chrissy and Cam'ron created a dangerous combination. They were pulling Jim in different directions, manipulating him, turning him against his friends, isolating him from his family, and breaking his confidence. Mama Jones says she watched all this happen and kept quiet for too long, but not anymore. What's worse is that Jim didn't see it coming. He trusted them. He loved Chrissy. He respected Cam'ron, but they were using that trust against him. While he thought he was building a life with them, they were quietly taking everything apart. His career, his friendships, his reputation, his money. Mama Jones paints a devastating picture. Jim became a different person, a shadow of who he used to be. The fun-loving, passionate artist who once controlled the mic and the stage became tired, lost, and doubtful. He started questioning himself because the people around him were slowly eroding his confidence. She says the most painful part was that Jim never realized the truth until it was too late. He thought he was being loyal. He thought they had his back, but in reality, they were plotting. They wanted control, not partnership. They saw Jim as a tool, not a teammate. According to Mama Jones, Cam'ron and Chrissy weren't just causing drama. They were planning for years to take Jim down from the inside, and when the time was right, they struck. The result? A complete collapse of Jim's career, his finances, and his public image. The public started to turn on him. Social media began to rip him apart. Rumors spread. People picked sides. Some supported Jim, but many more blamed him. And that's because Chrissy and Cam'ron were controlling the narrative. Mama Jones claims they fed lies to the press, to friends, to business partners, anyone who would listen. And then came the legal issues. Lawsuits started flying around. Mama Jones says that Chrissy and Cam'ron even threatened to sue Jim, not because he wronged them, but to tie him up in court, waste his money, and keep him too distracted to fight back. It was all a strategy, a game, and Jim was the target. At one point, Jim considered filing a massive lawsuit of his own, one that could have exposed everything. But he didn't go through with it. Why? Because he still cared. He still believed in the people who were hurting him. He hoped they would change. He hoped it was all a mistake. But Mama Jones knew better. She saw through the act. She knew what they were doing. And now she's making sure the world knows too. Financially, Jim took a huge hit. Deals fell through. Brands pulled away. Investments collapsed. While he was caught up in the personal chaos, Chrissy and Cam'ron were making moves that cost Jim everything. He went from making millions to struggling, and it wasn't because of bad luck, it was because of bad people. But money wasn't the only thing lost. Jim lost himself. He lost his drive. He lost his trust in others. Because when the people closest to you betray you, it doesn't just break your bank account, it breaks your heart. Mama Jones says that the damage they caused wasn't just personal, it was strategic. Everything was planned. Every move they made was to push Jim closer to the edge. And even now, after everything, there are still people who believe Chrissy and Cam'ron's version of the story. People who think Jim brought this on himself. But Mama Jones is begging us to look closer, to see the truth, to understand that this was never a simple fight between friends. This was a takedown. She's not speaking out for fame or sympathy. She's speaking out because her son deserves better. He deserves the truth to be heard. And she wants to make sure that no one else is fooled by the lies being spread, Mama. Jones's words cut deep. They reveal a dark side to fame, where friends become enemies and love turns into control. She shows us that behind the glamour and spotlight, there's often a lot of pain, a lot of betrayal, and a lot of fakeness. And the saddest part? This could have been avoided if Jim had seen the signs earlier, if he had listened to his mother, if he had realized that sometimes the people who smile in your face are the ones who want to see you fall. But it's not over. Mama Jones is making sure that the story doesn't end here. She's vowed to keep speaking, to keep fighting, and to keep standing up for her son. Because family, she says, is stronger than any plot, stronger than any lie. And when the truth comes out, the world will finally know who Jim Jones really is, and who his real enemies have been all along.